Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here, and there is a new card game coming, a digital card game called DC Dual Force. And DC Dual Force, as you may guess from the name, is a card game based on the DC comics, so DC license is being used. And this card game definitely belongs in the same lineage as Magic the Gathering, the originator of this entire line, and also Hearthstone. So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about DC Dual Force and how it compares to Hearthstone. DC Dual Force currently, they had a closed beta streamer event last weekend in which I also got to play the game for a few hours. They're going to have a stress test next weekend. Also semi-closed, you need a code to enter. If you want a code, by the way, drop by in my Discord and ask for one. I still have some left over from the stream. And there is an open beta coming later. I don't know the exact schedule of that. But if you're interested in this game, then what does it really offer compared to Hearthstone? Obviously, this entire genre was created by Richard Garfield in 1994 with Magic the Gathering. So what did Hearthstone bring to this genre? Hearthstone did a bunch of things that made the game faster and smoother, a little bit more casual compared to Magic. For example, automatic resource gain. So there's no lands, you automatically gain resources, you gain mana crystals in Hearthstone all the time. Then there's no interaction during your opponent's turns, so the game is a little bit smoother, faster, because all of those interaction checks are removed. And then there's the attacker's advantage. So the attacker gets to choose the targets instead of defender choosing which unit to use to defend. So those were like the main things that separate Hearthstone from Magic. And when looking at it from this perspective, it's clear that DC Dual Force is taking many of these things from Hearthstone and then sometimes adding a little bit of their own twist. DC Dual Force also, there's no interaction during opponent's turn, so it's also trying to be a little bit faster paced than Magic. And then there's also automatic resource generation. And there's a level of attacker's advantage, but some of these things have a bit of a twist to them. First of all, when it comes to automatic resource generation, in Hearthstone you have mana crystals, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on mana crystals, so there's only quantitative difference. In DC Dual Force there's also a qualitative difference between your resources. On turn 1 you will have 1 bronze resource available. On turn 2 you will have 2 bronze resources. Turn 3 you will have 1 silver and 1 bronze resource. Turn 4 2 silver resources, and turn 5 and so on 1 gold and 1 silver resource. And all the cards are either free or they cost 1 resource. And you can use a higher tier resource to cast a lower tier card, so you can use your gold resource to cast a bronze card, but you cannot use a bronze resource to cast a silver or gold card. There are not a lot of free cards in DC Dual Force, most of those are generated, there are very few free cards that you can put in your deck, so for the most part you're going to be playing 2 cards per turn. That's like the norm in Dual Force. But there are also some exceptions to this rule, because there are also some with a little bit more combo-based decks. Decks with Shazam, for example. Shazam gets +5 attack this turn, create 5 lightning bolts in your deck. Lightning bolts are free and also draw cards, so once you manipulate your deck properly, then zap, 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 zap. So there are also combo-ish things, even though you will basically only have resources to play like 2 real cards per turn. After a few hours of playing, I'm still a little bit thrilled, I suppose, by the new resource system. It's intriguing. I haven't really found the downsides yet. I'm sure those will be revealed eventually, but I do like it a lot. Then there's the attacker's advantage and no interaction during your opponent's turn. And in that regard, Dual Force also has a bit of a twist. Because Dual Force, there are 6 spots on the board. Hearthstone has 7. But in Dual Force, the spots are arranged in 2 rows. And when you have something on the first row, then it typically prevents the opponent from attacking whatever character is behind it. The character on the first row is going to protect the character behind. There are exceptions, there are abilities that allow you to bypass that and attack the back row characters. There's also some abilities that will switch the order so that they will push the back row to the front row. So some fun things that can be done simply by reimagining and rearranging the board a little bit. There are also taunt minions in Dual Force. The ability is called Guard in this game, and that can also sometimes be bypassed by the same units that can attack the back row immediately. And another one of Dual Force's twists is leaders. Because in Hearthstone you have a hero, in Magic you have a hero, in DC Dual Force you're actually going to have 2 leaders. In every deck is built around 2 leaders. And those leaders are your representation. They take up board space, they are in the corners, back row corners of the board when the game begins, and beating both leaders wins the game. So no matter what other minions, recruits are on the board, once you take down both of the leaders, you have won the game. And leaders also dictate how you build your deck, because leaders come from 5 factions, and for each leader that you put in your deck, you have to put in 20 cards, and those 20 cards have to be from that leader's faction. So you can build a deck that's mono faction, so you will use 2 leaders that are both from the same faction, or you can use 2 leaders from different factions, and then you will have sort of like you would build a dual class deck in Hearthstone. Think about like, hey, I want to build a hunter druid deck this time, or I want to build a warrior death knight deck. And you sort of can because of these leaders. That's like their function. Decks are 40 cards. You can use 2 copies of most cards, and then there are some cards that you can only use 1 copy of in the deck. So the consistency is a little bit lower than in Hearthstone because the deck is a little bit bigger, but the maximum number of cards that you can use for a single card is 2 copies. Then these leaders also have their powers. Well, Hearthstone, you have a hero power. This is similar, but again, it's different. Because leaders have charges, and at the start of each turn, your leader gets a charge, and then leaders have powers that use charges. You can also use cards that manipulate charges. They can take charges away from the opponents. They can give more charges to your leaders. Abilities can cost 2 charges, 3 charges, 4 charges. So you can't use these abilities every turn, even though they're a little bit like the hero powers in Hearthstone, although they are more powerful than that. And each leader gains charges separately, so as long as you have both leaders alive, you will be able to use a lot of these leader abilities. Obviously, once one of your leaders dies, then that leader is no longer available and you only have the living one left. Also, this charge mechanic is something that they are using to balance going fourth, going second. In Hearthstone we have the coin, but in DC Dual Force, if you go first, you don't get any charges on the first turn, so the one who's going second is going to be able to use the leader charges first. And those were basically the mechanical differences between DC Dual Force and Hearthstone. A little bit different when it comes to gaining resources, but automatic resource gain in both. A little bit different when it comes to attacker's advantage, but the attacker's advantage does exist in both games. And then this leader mechanic that affects your deck building and also the way individual games proceed. Then a couple of non-mechanical things that can change when new cards or new rules are introduced. First of all, there's the level of RNG, because I'm always a fan of low RNG games, and DC Dual Force right now is much lower RNG than Hearthstone, but some of it does exist. Actually, probably my least favorite card is this Two-Face, Arkham Inmate. Deploy, choose an enemy recruit, flip a coin to decide, KO them or draw a card. So Two-Face either hard removes an enemy minion, or it draws you a card, 50-50. Yeah, that's a bit harsh on the RNG side. Then we have Ventriloquist, which kind of resembles a knife juggler. It's basically a knife juggler if you have played Hearthstone. Then when you play an Arkham Inmate, Ventriloquist is going to shoot 3 knives. That's basically the story. And Joker, after friendly Arkham Inmate is KO'd, deal 4 damage to a random enemy character. KO'd means destroyed. It's just, every term is a little bit different, like in most card games. Then obviously whenever a new game comes out, the big question is going to be monetization. I don't think DC Dual Force is going to be Legends of Runeterra level cheap. I don't know how expensive it's going to be actually, because I can browse the store a little bit and I can see that they're selling card packs, they're selling mini sets, they're selling bundles, they're selling PvE comics, which are adventures. Okay, you can buy all sorts of stuff like that, that's fine. You can also earn in-game currency by playing that you can use to buy that, so you can play free to play, but we don't have enough information to really know how viable that is. Crafting is going to be introduced to the game, much like in Hearthstone. You can disenchant cards and you can craft new cards, but that was not available in this closed beta yet. Then there was a subscription model coming that will give you all of the PvE content, so all the comics, which are like adventures in Hearthstone. It's also going to give you some packs every month. That was listed to be around $10 a month, but it wasn't available yet. So overall, the monetization model is similar to Hearthstone. Well, card packs, mini sets, bundles, cosmetics, PvE stuff. But there's also some twists and turns because of the subscription model, for example. So we'll see. Overall cost is unknown so far. Obviously a big question mark when a new game is coming out, but I'll keep you updated about that once I know more about it. So overall, I was quite impressed by DC Dual Force actually. It's a medium-paced digital card game, so it's faster than Magic. It's maybe a little bit slower than Hearthstone at the moment. Clearly, following the footsteps of Magic and Hearthstone, this is no Gwent, this is no Marvel Snap. It's not trying to do something really different. It still has all the basic fundamentals, but it has a bit of twist and turn with the board and with the leaders and stuff. Fairly low on RNG initially, which I think is great. And strategic depth seems to be somewhere between Magic and Hearthstone. Not as complex as Magic, but there's a little bit more to do perhaps than in Hearthstone at the moment. And it will be interesting to see where it's going to be headed. And because I had a chance to play with this game a little bit already, even though it's not available to the general public yet, then here's a little sample of what DC Dual Force looks like in action. Well, we don't keep Goldens. I guess we'll do a mulligan like this here. Alright, we have Misfit, Two-Face, Shield and Guard. That's annoying. I guess we'll open up with this. Oh yes, here it goes, here it goes. A friendly character +4 health and aura. Shield, Guard, aura. So that aura is going to protect them from the next thing that's gonna happen. But we can get rid of the shield, maybe? No, we can't. Joker can't be activated yet. Well, we can get the gadget. Let's get the gadget. That could come in handy later. So the aura should negate this effect. Then we'll just grab Nullgun this back to my hand. And we'll throw it out there again. Now it has no aura. Then we get to work on which one? The Wonder Woman. We get to work on the Aquaman. Like this. Alright. That's a start. Metamorpho. After you deploy a recruit with 5 attack or more, Metamorpho gets +2/+2. Okay. That's totally fine. Do I have any Arkham inmates? I have a Catwoman that I can play, yes. Oh, that one was free actually. I could have played it at any time. I didn't realize. But that's fine. Put this one over there. We're going to play the Catwoman, who's an Arkham inmate, before we activate the Joker. Joker most likely is going to kill that one. And it does. Joker also gets to hit into the Aquaman. And then I can get Misfit. I guess Misfit and Kiteman can be played here. I didn't realize Kiteman was actually free, so I could have played it at any point. Well, now they can activate their Aquaman. So they can get a sea creature out there. I will have Batman coming again next turn. So let's see. Alright, another Metamorpho. Fine. And this time they get a guard out there, which buffs the Metamorpho. Fine. It's a pretty big novel right there. Okay. So what do I need? I think I will have to take it out. I'll keep working on that one. And we get Aquaman. +2 for each of your sea creatures. Okay. These are all hunters. I think I will need the gadget. Even though Batman is unlikely to actually attack. Sending a friend recruit to the hand could be useful. Playing the Huntress and we're playing Bruce Wayne. What do I end the turn? Something like this. Okay. But they're getting some big stuff out there, but I can't stop them. So this does not look promising. This is going to be huge. I have no way to handle it. Unless I pick up another Two-Face from the deck. I guess. Or charging. Trying to get Aquaman charged up. Can they get 2 charges for Aquaman? But the Aquaman is going down. But other than that, they are quite scary. Deal 2 damage to an enemy recruit if they're knocked out. Repeat this. I have an alchemy inmate here. So I can get an alchemy inmate out there like this. And I can kill that Aquaman. There goes the Aquaman. Then I can activate the Joker. I have an alchemy inmate and I have some firepower. Didn't get quite the hits I wanted, but I have a green arrow. I get the green arrow out there. That will kill that one. And then it's going to kill this one. And well, it can't quite kill that one, but it does still some damage to it. I could return green arrow to my hand. That's an option. I don't think I need to though. I suppose this is okay. Alright, so it has looked a little bit scary. But right now it doesn't look quite as scary anymore. Or does it? Superman is here. Well, that means that Wonder Woman is invincible. Okay. They give up and I win! Wee-hee! Victory for the aggro deck. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.